Good morning, learner, and welcome to our today's lesson. As you can see, we are beginning a new topic, and the topic is soil. This is a very interesting topic, whereby we begin by just defining what soil fertility is. After that, we will know the amounts of nutrients required by different types of crops. Then we go ahead and discuss the different types of manures. That is the two types of manures, the natural one and the artificial ones. Where in the natural ones, we are going to see 4 types of natural fertilizers. Then we move on and discuss about artificial fertilizers. We'll find 3 types of such fertilizers. And with that, we'll be ending our topic in that subtopic. I want to remind you of soil that we did in class, sometimes in class 6, where you talked about soil erosion. And in soil erosion, you said it's the carrying away of the top fertile soil. The carrying away of the top fertile soil. The carrying away of the top fertile soil. And this, we say, is done by 2 things. So those things that facilitate the carrying away of the soil, we call them the agents of soil erosion. And we say there are 2. We have wind and water. And water in this case is rainwater. So we say those are the agents of soil erosion. So the reason why I'm discussing about soil erosion is because it's affecting what we are doing here. Then we say we have 3 types, if not 4 types of soil erosion. We have what we call the splash type of erosion, also known as spatter. Then we have the rim erosion. Then we have gully erosion. And then we have what we call sheet erosion, which is sometimes referred to as the landslide types of erosion. So this is just to help you understand where we are coming from and where we are supposed to begin, so that we end up discussing this topic. Now, when you talk about soil fertility, sometimes you will find that this soil erosion has affected the fertility of a soil. And so, the soil, in this case, we say the soil becomes infertile. So, when soil is not having fertility, having now nutrients, we say the soil is infertile. So, for this soil to be fertile again, there are things that we apply to make it fertile again. In other words, we want to improve. We want to improve the soil. Or we can talk about to make it have enough nutrients that can support a plant growth. We can talk about improving or restoring. We want to restore the soil again, to regain its fertility as usual. So what is soil fertility? We begin from defining what soil fertility is. And soil fertility is the ability of soil to support, to produce high yields for a long time. Soil fertility is the ability of soil to produce high yields for a long time. If the soil cannot be able to do this, then we say the soil is loose. So loose soils are those soils that lack fertility. Say, like for example, look at sand soil. In many occasions, when you plant some crops on sand soil, they'll germinate, true, but they grow to a level that they cannot continue growing. They become yellowish in color. They turn their color from green to yellow because there are not enough nutrients in that soil that can support the growth of this particular plant to maturity and even be able to produce. So we say sand soil is loose. That's why it's not having nutrients to support plant growth. So the reason why the sand particles are far apart is because they lack fertility. And fertility binds soil particles together. Look at clay soil and look at loam soil. Their soil particles are together. They are not that loose because of the fertility in them that binds the soil particles together. So if a soil happens to be loose, manures are applied. Manures are applied to restore or improve. Sometimes the nutrients are not lost, all of them, but a few have been lost. So to make the soil regain its original state, we can add some fertilizers, some manures to improve the fertility. So manures are applied to restore or improve the fertility in lost soils. So in this case, and in our class 7, number 1, we are going to discuss how to use fertilizers and manures to improve soil. So to begin with, what is a fertilizer? That is what we want to answer. What is a fertilizer? That is the question that we're going to answer. And we say fertilizers are grouped, are these what we are talking about here that improve soil fertility, and they are grouped into 2. Fertilizers are grouped into 2, what we call manures. We call them natural fertilizers. Then we have what we call artificial natural fertilizers, and then we have fertilizers themselves here, artificial fertilizers. So simply when you talk about manures, we are talking about natural fertilizers. Though sometimes they use the same name to mean both fertilizers and the natural fertilizers. So plants require fertilizers or manures, nutrients. Let me use nutrients in different amounts. You realize that this particular plant A can be lacking some nutrients in a certain quantity. So there are those plants that require a lot of nutrients, and there are those ones which require very little nutrients. So plants that require they are those plants, they are plants that require what you call macronutrients, that is high quantity of nutrients. So some plants require these nutrients in high quantity, and we call them macronutrients. The macronutrients have another name, that is major nutrients. So some plants require what we call major nutrients. And the major nutrients, this is just by the way to just tell you what is supposed to happen, but there's a question that comes from this particular thing I'm handling about major nutrients and minor nutrients. So the macronutrients, or the major nutrients, include this, they include carbon. We have what we call hydrogen. We have oxygen. Then we have nitrogen. We have phosphorus. Potassium. Sulfur. sulfur, calcium, and magnesium. All these I've mentioned here are required by plants in large quantities. Required in large quantities. So these are what we call macronutrients. They are required by plants in large quantities. A plant will require more of these. Then we have what we call the micronutrients. Minor nutrients. And we can say these are required by plants in small quantities. They are only required by plants in small quantities. You can give examples of what we call zinc. We have molybdenum. We have others like boron. We have others like chlorine. And lastly, we have manganese. We have copper. All these are required by plants in small quantities. So, Lana, you have a task here to be able to identify which ones are micronutrients and which ones are macronutrients. If I were you, I'd just master these micronutrients. Then anything else above that is a macronutrient or major nutrient. So only master one part. It is easy to master this one because they are not many. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can come up with a formula that you're going to master these ones. Then anything above that should be a macronutrient. I've said that is a question in the exam. Take it very seriously and try to analyze and see which one you're going to memorize and which one you're going to remain with. Now that is by the way, whatever I was doing, but I want now to come to types of manures. Manures are also referred to as natural fertilizers, also known as natural fertilizers, or organic fertilizers. The reason why they are called natural fertilizers is because they are locally made at home. These ones are not bought from the market. They are just made at home. They are organic because all of them will they help in fixing nutrients in the cell, and most of them they are made of items or substances or materials that are able to decompose. So manures are 4. I'm going to mention 4, and they are classified according to number 1, the method of preparation, and then materials. Number 2, materials used to prepare them. Materials used to prepare them. So when we be classifying these natural fertilizers, you realize that the names we are going to give them suggests either the method of preparation or the type of materials used to prepare those particular natural fertilizers. So there are 4 in number, as I said. And number 1, we have what we call the green manure. You can already start guessing what this is made up of. It's made up of green leafy plants. Then we have what we call farmyard manure. Another name for it is animal manure. This is made up of animal waste, the cow dung and the rest, the beddings and so forth and so on. We have what we call the compost compost manure, and lastly we have organic mulches. Yesterday we talked about mulching, or the other day. Mulching, we said we are adding some dry grass and leaves at the base of a plant to prevent direct sunlight from evaporating the available water in that particular plant. So organic mulches are those things that we discussed yesterday, dry grass and leaves. So today I don't want to talk about all of them. I want to talk about one particular type of manure, and I will discuss green manure. So Lana, be careful now with this. So let's begin with green manure as a type of natural fertilizer. Now, as the name suggests, is made from green plants. And the method of preparation is very simple. The green plants majorly leguminous plants. Leguminous plants are planted and plowed back into the soil just before flowering. Or I've said the green plants, majorly leguminous plants, are planted and plowed back into the soil just before flowering, or cut or chopped into small pieces and then plowed back into the soil. I've put two ways of preparing that in one sentence. Number one, you can decide, what are we talking about? We are talking about the plant. I want to say how it is prepared here. This is what we call the seed bed. This is where you want to plant your maize crop. But this plant, this piece of land is not fertile. So before you start planting your maize, which is the main crop, you decide to add some fertility into this soil by planting, like, let's take for example bean seeds. You plant beans there, of course at the onset of rains, before they just flower, because what we want is not the produce, we want the leaves. So before they flower, before these beans flower, just after like 3 to 4 weeks, you plow them back. You bring back a tractor and plow these back into the soil. You mix with soil. Then you wait for another 3 to 4 weeks. These ones will have decomposed into the soil and fixed nutrients into the soil. Then you bring now your main crop, which is the maize. Come and plant your maize. So these maize which are grown there will utilize the nutrients that were fixed by this bean plant. So that is exactly what happens. So you plant this leguminous plant. It can be beans, it can be napier grass. You just plant it there, so long as it's a leguminous plant. And the reason why they prefer leguminous plants is because leguminous plants are able to tap the nitrogen in the air and fix it into the soil very fast, because they have what we call the root nodules. So they will use the root nodules I showed you the other day. These are what we call the root nodules, to pick the nitrogen in the air, which is simply found in the air at the onset of rains because of the lightning. You know what lightning is? So that lightning, as a component, as a nitrogen component that is picked by these plants using this nitrogen root nodules, and inside them they are what we call nitrogen fixing bacteria. So they will utilize that nitrogen and form what we call plant nitrates. These nitrates are going to be fixed in the soil so that any plant that you grow there will utilize these nitrates as nutrients to enable it to grow and produce high yields. So this crop you have planted here is not the main crop. The main crop will be that maize that will come to plant after you have plowed back these plants here. So after you have finished plowing it back into the soil, you wait for 3 to 4 weeks so that these materials you plowed them back into the soil can rot. After rotting now, 3 to 4 weeks, you bring out the main crop, which is the maize. The maize will come now and grow here, and the soil will have gained some nutrients that can support this maize plant to grow to maturity and produce high yields. Remember what we said in our definition? We are saying we are introducing this as fertile soil is soil that can be able to support plant maturity and be able to produce high yields. So you can either do that, the one of plowing back into the soil directly, or you cut these bean plants. You bring them home, you chop them into pieces, and then take them back into the garden again, into the seed bed. Just place them there and then plow them back into the soil. So there are 2 ways of doing that. Either you plow them directly using a tractor or ox-driven plow, or you uproot them first, chop them into pieces, and then place them back there, and you turn the soil to just burn them into the soil, and then wait for 3 to 4 weeks before you plant the main crop now, which is the maize. So that's how you prepare green manure. So having done that, so some of the plants that are required to form examples of plants that can be used to make green manure include, we have what we call leguminous plants. I've talked about the cowpeas, beans, napier grass. We talk about sunflower, lucerne, etc. You can have other plants like the maize stalks, sorghum, and all those. After looking at that now, we got and identify properties of plants required for green manure. This will be our last point. There are only 4. What are some of the properties that those plants that you've picked to make them as green manure, how are they supposed to be like? Number 1, they should be leafy. The opposite of leafy is woody. You have seen a plant that is woody, meaning that the branches are the many in that particular plant. It's made up of sticks. If I can use that word. The sticks are many comparing to the number of leaves. So in this particular plant that we want to use as a green manure, leaves is what we require in this particular process. We don't require the parts, because these parts do not rot. The woody part do not rot. So what we require is leaves. So the plant should be leafy. Should contain a lot of leaves. Number 2, the plant should be leguminous. The reason why it is supposed to be leguminous is because I've just explained here. A leguminous plant has root nodules at the roots, and therefore it can use the oxygen and nitrogen in the air to make plant nitrates by the help of nitrogen fixing bacteria. Now if it can use that, then that plant is good for green manure because it will fix a lot of nitrates into the soil, which will be utilized by the main crop. So it should be leguminous. Not another type of plant, but it should be mostly leguminous. Number 3, other than being leguminous, should be easy to rot. Should be easy to decompose or decay or rot. All these mean the same. Should be easy to decompose. Don't use a plant that will take 1 month or 2 months to decompose. because it has the decomposition that can be able to fix nitrates into the soil, and therefore the other plant that will be grown there will utilize that. If this plant that you choose to make a green manure will take long to decompose, what will happen is that as it continues to decompose there in the soil and taking 2 months, the rain is still going on. And then, before you come and plant the main crop, then it will be just 1 month with rain, and then the rain disappears, because rain can only take at most 3 months. So if it takes 2 months, it means the main crop that you're coming to plant here, the maize, will only have 1 month of rain. Then that means that the maize will not grow to maturity and they will not produce anything. So they should be easy to decompose, so that they take little time, like 2 weeks. They have already fixed nitrates in the soil, and you are ready to plant the main crop. So that most of the rain can be taken by this main crop. But if it takes longer, it means that the main crop will have very little rain to be able to mature. Then the last one, talk about should be to decompose, should it be leguminous, should it be leafy. The next one should be contain. So there should be, there's another one here, fast to grow, fast growth. Should have fast growth so that it can pave way for the main crop to be planted. If it takes long to grow, to mature, to a level that it can be cut down in the soil, then it means that we are going to have very little time with the main crop, and so it will lack most of the nutrients that are found at the onset of rains. You know, nitrogen is mostly fixed during the onset of rains. So if it's going to grow very, very slowly, it means that the main crop will also be delayed, and therefore it may not even grow to maturity. So these 4 points are very, very important, and they ask in the exam. Should be leafy, leguminous plants, easy to decompose, and should have a fast growth so that it can pave way for the main crop. So until next time, learner, I want to stop at that point. When we meet next, in our next lesson, we'll discuss what we call the FYM. FYM is a short form of farmyard manure. That is what we shall be dealing with in our next lesson. So take notes in this, what we have done today. Make some short notes on your own, and be checking that once Corona will allow us to be in school. Have a blessed weekend and be busy at home doing something. God bless you.